Good evening and welcome to the Evening Missions. This is vk3sl. And pleased to be back and looking forward to should be an interesting session. I'm doing things a little differently tonight. I don't think I'll be playing any popular music or even any 78s. I'm going to start off with a feature on a great cellist who's sort of been reintroduced to me through a number of YouTube clips which have surfaced, and I've sort of reconnected with this wonderful player, and I'd like to sort of celebrate her music. We played a documentary earlier in the week on Zara Nelsova, a Canadian cellist, and it really had an effect on me. I was quite moved by her humility and the remarkable stories about her career. Now, many years ago, I had ambitions to study with Zara Nelsova. She was in her 80s when I was in my 20s, or late teens. And in London, she was performing and giving masterclasses at the Manchester Cello Festival at a time when I was in London. And things didn't quite work out. I think there was some other commitment. I was doing something else and it just didn't happen. It's a pity, because when I hear about her life and listen to her playing, she is just such a remarkable musician. So I think we'll sort of, have a listen to some of Zara Nelsova's music for the first little while. And at 12:30, as per usual, we'll dial up Zoomomatic and have a chat with Frank. Frank's got a great selection for tonight, so we'll riff on that for a little while. And so there we have it. That'll be the scheme of things, I think. Now, just our usual disclaimer that we're undertaking tone tests on 160 metres and also 2 metres. And if you wish to be entertained, go and have a listen on YouTube. Just dial up my call sign as a dedicated YouTube channel and follow the feed. And there's more information if you wish to find out about my form of madness, this mania that beholds me, and the various aspects of the station and this enterprise. That can be all found at vk3sl.blogspot.com. Been an action-packed week on many, many fronts this week. Been following different dynamics. I think people can read between the lines with interest. But on the home front, we've been having birthdays and recitals and it's busy time. Everyone's sort of ramping up for the end of the year. So with that, I wish Mr. H, who played for us the other night, I wish him well for Sunday when he has his big recital. Well, let's have a listen now to Zara Nelsova. Beautiful player, remarkable musician, and this is just a performance of the Bach D major suite, the 6th suite, the prelude. It's a performance to die for. I think she just plays this with such elan and such spirit. Let's hear her now. vk3sl testing. Just heard Zara Nilsova play the prelude to Bach's Cello Suite Number 6 in D, BWV 1012. In my opinion, that's a performance to die for. It's such wonderful, intense playing. Zara Nilsova, a great Canadian cellist. Now, she talks about studying that work with Pablo Casals. She was one of the few students that he accepted in his early days in Prades when he was in self-imposed exile there after the war. In fact, it was from the period of the Spanish Civil War that he decided not to play in public again, but he lived in a mountainous retreat in the town of Prades, right near the Spanish border, but not in the country itself. And various great musicians visited him and played chamber music and connected with him, and he took on Zara Nilsova as a student at that time. And she recounts her studying of the Bach Suite Number 6 with Casals in this documentary. Now, the documentary is really worth listening to. I played it a couple of nights ago, I think, and it's also online. So it's on the log if you wish to delve there, about 2 or 3 nights ago on the afternoon sessions. And alternatively, just look up Zara Nilsova, CBC radio documentary. I think it was made about in the 70s, sometime, I think. Yeah, it's really, really amazing. And she's such a humble person, and she just accounts this really humble association with Casals and learning the Sixth Suite. I studied myself with Chris Bunting, and he also studied the Sixth Suite with Casals, so the aesthetic is quite strong in my imagination, and the edition that I used was very similar to the one that she played from, so I can understand her musical ideas and the dramatic pacing of her performance. It sort of resonates with me. So, a very personal association with that recording. Wonderful stuff. Now, Zara Nilsova also had a very close association with Ernest Bloch, Swiss composer, Jewish composer who wrote some magnificent works for cello and violin and viola, and inspired by the Jewish tradition and particularly the cantor, the singing, and Jewish intonation, Jewish harmonies. Some of his music has a very sort of Spartan feel. It's incredibly connected to the Jewish experience. Anyhow, Zara Nilsova herself had a Jewish background, and she spent time with Ernest Bloch and actually stayed with him. And she accounts this in the documentary too, this fascinating story of staying with Bloch and learning Shlomo, which is a rhapsody for cello and orchestra. And it's expansive music in the extreme, and I'd like to share it. They actually made a recording of it together. So here she is with the composer. Recording made in 1950. It's not in the best condition, but it's very listenable. And this will take a little while, but it is worth immersing yourself in. I'm going to close my eyes and just, let this take me somewhere. So let's hear this particular performance from 1950. Ernest Bloch conducting his own work and Zara Nilsova as the soloist. Bloch's Shlomo. You have just been listening to Shlomo, Hebraic Rhapsody for Violoncello and Orchestra, a work by Ernest Bloch. He composed that during the First World War, just before he came to America. And highly personal work. He represents the voice of King Solomon. Brooding qualities of the cello. There's a beautiful review of this, actually, if I can find it. Where is it here? Here it is. The reception in 1921. The Italian critic Guido Gatti wrote of Shlomo that Bloch had reached the perfection of his music, and the violoncello with its ample breadth of phrasing, now melodic and with moments of superb lyricism, now declamatory and with robustly dramatic lights and shades, lends itself to a reincarnation of Solomon and all his glory. He says the orchestra palpitates in all colours of the rainbow. From the vigorous and transparent orchestration there emerge waves of sound that seem to soar upwards in stupendous vortices and fall back in a shower of myriads of iridescent drops. It's very poetic. It's such a great work. I've got the score and I have played through it. But hearing it played with such incredible intensity and knowing that that's with the composer conducting makes it a very incredibly important performance historically. And he had great admiration for Zara Nilsova, as did Casals and Emanuel Forman. She was a cellist who earned the respect of all her peers. I could easily dedicate a whole program to her, but I think we'll change tack and play something a bit lighter for a little while, and then we'll usher Frank into the fold shortly. Before I do that, I'll just mention that Chris has his missions tomorrow night. He's just been in touch with me, and just a note that they will may be starting a little later tomorrow. He's got some things on, so it may not be at the usual time slot of 9:30. So hang in there. I'll certainly be streaming it. And I'll just leave the streaming service open. So if anyone wants to have a listen, just if you don't have 2 meters, certainly have a listen on the stream. It'll be I do that each week. So look forward to it, Chris, if it all works out. And certainly have been enjoying your recent programs. I usually, in fact, I always record them and listen back the next day. Can't quite cope with 2 very late night lights at this point. Anyhow, let's have a look. Let's find something lighter. I really wanted to just have that feature on Zara Nilsova. Having featured her during the week and hearing that great documentary, I wanted to follow on, but particularly with that performance of Shlomo, and before that, the Bach. All right, this is vk3sl test missions on 160 metres in the narrowband FM mode, and also on 2 metres on 147.475 megahertz, colloquially known as Channel D. So you can have a listen on 2 radio platforms, or you can listen online on 2 streaming services. And the word is that if you wish to be entertained, listen online. Don't listen on air. That's the story. These are strictly tone tests to validate volume and clarity and intensity. All right, let's have a listen now to some Bill Evans, I think. We'll let this go for another 10 minutes while I get Zoom organised. And this is his album Moonbeams. So we'll just sample this. We had quite an expose on Bill Evans the other week, and I've really grown to like his playing. This is VK3SL testing. This is vk3sl. You're listening to the Bill Evans Trio, an album called Moonbeams, and shortly I'll send a link to Frank and we'll usher him in. I might see if I can find a chapel disc to do the deed in about 10 minutes. vk3sl testing. This is vk3sl. You've been listening to Moonbeams, the Bill Evans Trio. Some great harmonic colours in that playing. He's certainly got a wonderful sense of the vertical component of music and lyricism too. It's beautiful playing, and I love the way the trio homogenise. So thanks, Frank. You've introduced me to some great contemporary. Oh, it's not really contemporary anymore, is it? Anyhow, we have a Chapel disc on the platter. It's probably the only real 78 I'll play tonight, but it's sitting there ready to go. So we'll use this to usher Frank into the fold, and very shortly I will push admit. So I think we're almost ready to go. And here we go. vk3sl testing. And with that, we introduce Frank. Welcome, Frank, to our Alpine Pastures.
Hello, Steve.
Hello. Yes, I'm sure you're familiar with that one. Is that Hancock's Half Hour?
Yeah. No, that was another one, but it sounds very like it, I think.
Okay. Yes, I was wondering what it was.
Hancock did.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you're right. Yeah, it is too.
But I love that light orchestra stuff.
Oh, it's great. It's good mission spotter, isn't it? Yes, well.
It is. Yes, well. What a week, what a day.
Oh, gosh, yes. I have to say, I have been distracted tonight. I've been looking at news feeds.
Yes, so have I. For a similar reason.
So I haven't been focused as I usually would be on the missions, but that's okay. I'm actually welcoming a distraction at this point. So this is
I'd say likewise. Kathy's been engaging me in the latest developments.
Yes, that's right. I've had my phone or an iPad even in my work environment because I've been quite compelled. But never mind. Well, that's another subject. Now, did you know?
Yes,
do you know the Moonbeams album, the Bill Evans album I was just playing before? Are you familiar?
I don't specifically know that, but it was lovely stuff. Thank you for playing it.
No, it's good to hear. I hadn't heard it before. 1962, it says. So it's
beautiful. It's absolutely.
That was
lovely shades, as you say, lovely colours, delicately done.
Yes,
not forced upon you or rammed down your throat. They're just lovely, gentle, sensitive.
It is.
Playing.
It is, Frank. I agree, and it's very organic. I like the way it sort of just evolves, and you can hear him just develop a musical idea, and it's quite playful. Yes. But it's never pretentious. That's what I like about it too.
Not at all. It's understated, really, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, and I particularly enjoy that factor. It's not trying to sort of. I don't know, create something new.
No. It's just, it speaks for itself without adornment or overblown or anything like that.
That's it.
I have a friend from U3A who's a Japanese lady who's an artist, and Bill Evans is her favourite jazz pianist also, and she says it for her it just brings up colours and love it. It's very much in line with her artistic kind of conceptions.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. I always love to hear stories of cross-pollination between the arts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Right.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Yeah. There's an interview with him. I must put it on one of the afternoon missions where he's talking about his feelings about rock and roll, which is quite interesting.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. It's good.
I guess he's not his favourite sort of music.
I think you might have a point there. But look, he's very diplomatic and it's quite an intellectually based sort of reasoning.
Yeah.
But I think he sees it for what it is, of course. But
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but did you hear the one on the ARP 2600?
I certainly did. That was terrific. I don't know where you find all this stuff.
Oh, there's so much there. There's all this material I had no idea. Because when I first started doing these missions, I was playing a lot of electronic music and I was sort of featuring...
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we sort of looked at a number of, sort of particular artists who specialised in a genre of electronic music and also instrumental genres as well, or different types of instruments. A bit of an anthology, but I'd never done one on the ARP 2600. And anyhow, I thought I'd sort of had a general idea of what was out there, but it's quadrupled since, and that's only in the last 3 years. So it's exciting.
Wonderful.
So we'll have to have a lot more. There's plenty of it there. Yeah.
Yes, please. Those early analog synths were really something special.
Yeah.
And even now the aficionados, the analog aficionados, pay huge money. Because they say that even the best of the digital reproducing still doesn't have that quality, the special quality that
I think the special quality is probably distortion artifacts. And,
well, that's right, but whatever it is,
euphoric distortion, the sound of tubes, even all the harmonics. I've heard it all.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: the digital people are trying so hard to emulate the analogs that some of them build in a facility whereby it introduces slight levels of random drift, oscillator drift.
There we go. We need the human element, don't we?
That's right.
It's something that's slightly imperfect. I think a lot of drum beats. I think drum machines are the same. Often they
are too perfect.
They are, and I find that a lot of that nightclub music, I start to feel tense, and I think it's because I mean, I don't particularly warm to that sort of stuff anyhow. But
I know.
But yeah, I think it's something to do with the rhythm is machine generated and perfect, and somehow our systems don't calibrate to an absolute, quantitative measures like that. I think we need something.
Well, there's no room for the expression that comes with a human being doing it.
That's right. Exactly. I think in a very subtle way we connect with that human element. And I don't know if we fully understand how, but it's certainly a part of it. But yes, it's an interesting subject, isn't it? Yeah,
certainly is.
yeah, but there's a lot on those synths, those early synths, and
I must look myself. What's
yeah.
you just
I
search
just
under
did. Look,
analog synths? Or,
that's right, I did. And you know how with YouTube it tends to sort of pick up on your search engine topics, and it picks up after a while. It picks up on your
as it learns, doesn't it?
It sort of does. So yeah, and that's how it all sort of follows on. And of course, you get your list of associated things. So yeah, if you do a search on ARP 2600 or Korg early synths, you'll find that there'll be other material there.
That was one of a whole series of ARP synths. There was an ARP5, which was a later one.
Okay.
Which was more. Well, by then ARP had a name. He had a big name in analog synths.
Yeah.
And the ARP5 is the sort of legendary one that all the bands were using.
Oh, really? Okay. Yep.
Because it was enforceable. Sorry, it was affordable.
Yeah.
And easier to access the various sounds, and you could still do a lot of creativity with it, the sound creation with it.
Sure.
With using the filters and the phasing, etc.
Yeah.
But that was one of the legendary mass-produced synths.
Sure.
Really.
That's the ARP5. I'll write it down.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, well, that's great. Yeah. So there's a lot more where that came from. I love the earlier ones. There's sort of production values with that early stuff where they're really, there's a pride in the new technologies, and it's got that cutting edge feel. I think there's something compelling about that. It's great.
That's right.
So and
I'm just having a rethink about that ARP5. Sorry, I might be. There was one called the Prophet 5.
Okay.
Which I think might have been made by the ARP people.
Okay, I'll put 5 and I'll put Prophet 5.
Yeah,
and I'll just do some searches. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. That's a few points of departure. No, I'd be interested to know what so I really don't know a lot about electronic. I don't know about the consumer grade stuff, and
no.
And it's interesting to sort of see. Of course, you've got a lot of synth emulators in your new. So
yes, I do.
We look forward to you. You have to describe them for us, and
I will.
Give some examples.
When I get up and running. It's just about limitless what's available in software. So if you do it in software that you can load on,
yeah, sure.
The sky is the limit, really.
Yeah. Absolutely, you can just do anything at all. Yes, that's right. It was funny. There was another example. You probably heard that too. The one with Leonard Bernstein and the big.
Oh yes,
and the big
most
mood.
Interesting. Yes,
and he wheels the thing. I think it's a part of a larger program where he's got the full orchestra on stage, and he's got an audience of children, audience of young children. This would be in the 60s.
Yes.
And
sounded like a big audience, didn't it? From the applause.
Yes, big audience, lots and all young kids, all dressed up, and anyhow, he wheels this thing on, and it's got a Ampex 300 tape machine sort of.
So you were saying
grafted to it. So it's this tower. I think it's designed to look imposing. It's this tower of a machine with 10,000 knobs and 4 keyboards, and it's like an ultra-sized piano, and they wheel this thing on and upright. And he just sets the tape machine on and it plays itself, and the kids are just completely there. And as the different sound effect now, the different instrumental groups emerge, their eyes light up, and they're completely. It's a fantastic study on human expression. It's wonderful.
I know. Yeah. Well, I remember when I first heard Switched On Bach. Yeah. I went through a similar sort of experience. It was just amazing,
like nothing you would have ever heard before. Yeah.
The original synths, of course, were all single oscillator synths.
Right. Yes. And then you relied on patching to create envelopes and stuff like that, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. And really, Walter / Wendy Carlos was the first example I heard of a multi oscillator.
Okay.
And I think he was using. I think he had something like 8 or 10 oscillators, or more perhaps at his disposal. But that was one of the reasons it was so big, because it was all big analog. Using the big as facetors and
Yes,
etc.
that's right. Exactly. All there's the hardware took up a lot of space.
Yeah, and the pots, they had heaps and heaps of pots to
Yeah.
well, that's how it was voltage varied by pots.
That's right.
As you well know.
Yes.
It was all done by voltage variation.
Extraordinary, isn't it? And
It was.
So the power supplies alone would have been fairly highly regulated, I suppose. You couldn't have any too much ripple or.
Oh no, I think they had to get a very pure, current, but they still got drift. Because they until they found a way of actually locking the
using phase lock loops
down.
and stuff like that. I suppose.
Something like that. Yeah.
I can understand. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, it's good. Well, you've picked a great topic, and again,
I hope so.
Oh, it's good. I don't know where to start though, Frank. We'll have to. I haven't put a lot of time into it, and
no, you wouldn't need to. I'm sure. I didn't know it was originally written for piano.
For two pianos, and I was listening to a version of it for four hands. And it sounds really effective. It's quite beautiful, the arrangement. So maybe we could start with that version. Well, I suppose we better tell people what it is.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Might be a good start. We're talking about Peter Warlock's Capriole Suite. Now, it's a work Warlock. First of all, Peter Warlock. Or Philip Heseltine, I think his real name
Heseltine,
was.
yes.
Heseltine, yes.
I think it's the same name as Les.
Oh, yes.
Les
The original, yes. Yes, I think you're right. And maybe he's related. I don't know.
He might be.
He had my call sign. That's it. Okay. Well, anyhow, he wrote this work. He's an English composer, very troubled English composer.
Yes,
he was someone who had terrible demons. In fact, they consumed him in the end, which was all very sad. But he
very sad indeed.
Yeah, and he was an impossible personality, really, as well. And but that's another story. But he did write.
I think he suffered from bipolar.
Oh, I think he did. Yes, definitely some illness or schizophrenia or bipolar or something.
Yeah,
and
he believed in the alcohol, didn't he?
Oh, he was obsessed with it. I think it completely dominated his life, and he was into very strange rituals, and which sort of put him well and truly on the fringe of society. And but he wrote some beautiful music, and he was more or less self-taught, which is interesting.
Was he? I didn't.
Yeah, I think he had lessons, but it wasn't. He didn't have a lot of formal education. I don't think he was actually was able to sort of last anywhere for very long. I think his personality sort of
bit of a handful.
Yes. I think he had a habit of turning up without clothes on and doing all sorts of weird things.
Oh well.
Yes.
Everyone to their own.
Each to their own. I don't think that went down too well. But anyhow, poor old Mr. Warlock. Peter Warlock was his occult name. And yes. So anyhow, he wrote this in 1926. It's a work originally for two pianos, and he's based it on this treatise of ancient music. It's a treatise, a Renaissance treatise called Arabo's Orchestrographie, I think.
Yes, it's French, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a French treatise.
That's right, a French treatise published in 1588. And he was particular. I think it was this particular work was translated to English in 1925 by Cyril Beaumont. It says translated in 1925. So he got this treatise, and I think he was inspired by it, and that's how their work came to be. So so he wrote it it's a series of short dances. Very short. The whole thing only goes for 10 minutes.
It is.
Yeah. And so he wrote these dances, and there's about 6 of them, and let's see what they are. The first one's bass dance. I know that one well.
Oh yes. Thank you for your solo performance this afternoon.
I had that one in my fingertips. I put the cello away firmly out of reach tonight. I'm not going to trouble them.
I'm sorry to hear it.
No, it's okay. Anyhow, so yes, the first one was bass dance. That's the one I sampled this afternoon. And then, it's all on the log if people want to listen. Then there's Pavane and Tordion, and Tordion, Tordion, and then Branzels and Pieds El Dier. I can't. My French is hopeless. Pieds, Pieds en Lier. Okay, that's the last one.
Yeah, it says feet.
Yes, okay.
Oh, it's feet on something. I don't know what the last word.
I'm sorry, I can't help with that. And then the last one's
No.
Matachins, which is very energized. So 6 short dance movements, and they sort of all come from this Arabo's orchestrography treatise. So let's hear it in its early incarnation. Now, there's no formal...
Did he arrange it for string orchestra?
Yes, he did. He did. I think the work had considerable success as a four-hand arrangement, and then he thereafter he arranged it for orchestra, and that's the version we mostly hear. But it hasn't turned up. Here it is. Capriole Suite for Piano Duet. All right, this is a home recording. I couldn't, but quite a good home recording by just two amateurs who seem to do quite well with it. I couldn't find an official recording of it, but it's at least, it's, 1 minute, I've still got something ticking away here. I just need to work out what's still going. Something's still going. Is it Bill Evans? No, Mr. Evans is finished. Or has he? That's interesting. I wonder what that was. I think, I wonder if I was doubling up right through the whole missions without realising it. I hope not. There was a rogue track on my YouTube list that was it was taking off. Okay, now where excuse my meandering here. I'm just getting organised.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so
Meander away.
Thank you, Peter Warlock, Capriole Suite for Piano Duet. Let's have a listen. I'm sorry, I can't tell you who the artists are.
Doesn't matter.
We just heard a performance of Peter Warlock's Capriole Suite for piano duet. Are you there, Frank?
Yes, I am. Now, you've lost 160 metres.
Yeah, I am afraid I have. I've got a few issues. I'm afraid I wasn't even able to focus on that performance. I've been outside of the head torch, and I know but I know it's happened, and I'm pleased that I got a message from Wayne, who contacted me, let me know that 2 metres was all over the place, and I think it's because what's happened is the 160 metre antenna shorted out. Shorting out it's like a cobweb of wires above, and this happened the other day as well. It's developed they're insulated wires, but the insulation's broken down at a certain point, and it's with the moisture, it's raining outside, and with the moisture, it shorts out to it was touching the 80 metre antenna. Now it's touching the 2 metre antenna, and it's just shorting to ground and just completely dropping out. And I think that's what was causing 2 metres, because it was creating an irregularity there, which was inadvertently affecting 2 metres as well. And
can you fix that easily?
Well, I think 2's okay now. I was just testing. So, Wayne, if you're still listening, maybe you could let me know if things are okay. I've had to drop off 160, unfortunately. It's probably quite an easy fix. Because I could see the sparks. I mean, gosh, there must be a lot of voltage.
Yeah, big voltage. Yeah, that's right.
There were massive sparks, and so I pulled out a squid pole and extended it, and I was trying to sort of edge it off, but it's at right at the top of the length, so the low point's about 7 metres up, and I could just move it off, but you could see these. It was fireworks. It was quite impressive.
Yeah.
So that's what's been happening, and I think that's a part of what I've been experiencing on and off for the last little while with antenna problems. Is the insulation breaking down and it's shorting out in some situations.
That sounds a lot more tractable than your initial fears.
Yes, it is, Frank, and I'm feeling actually quite positive about it. So I think that it's going to be quite straightforward. I'll just have to reroute it again, and it's just hard to route the L part of the inverted L without touching something. And in the past for years, it's been fine. It brushes against other wires and it's fine. But what's happened is the insulation. It's broken, and now it's shorting out. So that's what's happening. But definitely shorting.
Well, look, I'll just go to 2 metres.
Yes, if you can.
I can.
Is that convenient for you? I can put on.
I can. I'm using my main receiver tonight.
Okay.
So I should be able to do that. Let me just.
All right. It'll be interesting to know how you are receiving 2 metres anyhow.
Right. Just hold on. If you could just.
Yeah, that's all fine. Well, look, I tell you what. I can put on another performance if you like. We can listen to it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah,
that was really good. That piano performance.
Good.
That was really good. I was surprised that I liked it so much.
Yeah.
They played it well, I thought.
They did. It was quite a transparent performance. They didn't use too much pedal, which was nice.
No.
And you could hear the.
Yeah, I thought they captured the mood pretty well.
Yeah, it was good. It was lovely. All right, well, look, I've got on the turntablium a recording of what have I got here? The English Symphonia. And we could have a listen to a bit of that while you're setting up 2 metres, and then we can come back and carry on from there. How's that sound?
I've virtually done it now.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay. All right. Now, if you're almost there, we'll...
just hold on.
Well, because we can listen to this in a different context. Because what might be good is...
No, you're coming through beautifully on 2 metres.
Oh, really? Oh, tremendous. Okay. Well, that's encouraging. That's good. All right. I'm pleased that 2's working. Well, thank you, Wayne, for bringing that to my attention. I wasn't... Yes. I didn't look at the meter. I didn't realise it was raining outside. So just as well we switched off the emitters.
And hi to Wayne. It'd be good if we could have a radio contact at some point, Wayne. I don't know when or where or how, but
yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to catch up. We'll might see if we can bring him into the because he's got some great musical.
I know.
Backgrounds and ideas. So maybe we could have a subject evening with Wayne at the helm. That'd be great.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely. And that reminds me, next week I think we're up to our monthly cycle with Jamie next week.
Jamie, yes. That doesn't the time come around?
It does. So yeah, hi Jamie. If you're listening, I think he would be.
Yeah, he will be. Hi Jamie.
Yeah, so we'll definitely make contact this week and set things up for the next time.
Yeah.
Next Friday. So
terrific.
Yeah, it'll be good to to touch base. So that's on the cards. Right.
Excellent.
Well, let's see. Now, I've got this LP on the table. This is a recording with we have a look. Neville Dykes conducting the English Symphonia. It's on an EMI LP from the 70s, I
Very
presume.
Good.
But
Yes.
there's a bit of good info on the cover. So I thought this might be a sort of catalyst. You can riff on some of these. Now,
Right.
it mentions first the Arabo's orchestrography treatise from 1588. So hello, you still there?
I'm sorry. Yes, I just thought I'd lost
Okay.
my own audio. No, I'm fine.
That's all good. Yeah, so we've dealt with Mr. Arabo's treatise. He's on Renaissance music. And so, yes, this work was written in 1926. And then it was shortly after the piano version it was orchestrated. Now, the first movement, the bass dance, triple times, simple, earthy theme. I certainly vouch for that. I love this theme. It's an earworm, this bass dance, I think.
It is.
It's the sort of thing you wake up, if you're not waking up thinking about other things happening on the other side of the world, I wake up thinking of, I wake up thinking of musical themes, and
Yes.
and this is what it certainly does. Yes, have a earworm validity about it. So yes, it's in triple time and simple earthy theme, passing from one part to the other with ever mounting vehemence. So I think that's a good intro. So we'll listen to this, and then what I'll do is I'll stop the table between each one, and we can just deal with each movement in sequence. How's that sound?
Very good.
All right.
Excellent.
All right, let's give it a whirl. I think we're right. SP10, and let's have a listen. Right, bass dance.
Very good. It's very bass.
It is. And I like the way the theme comes back at the end with those repeated down bows. I should have my cello here. I've just packed away. But look, when it goes bom, 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 and at the end when that tune comes back,
Yes.
and those repeated down bows give a real sort of earthy...
Earth solidity to it.
They certainly do. It's well grounded.
That's you took the words out of my
It's a
mouth.
ground bass with real
Grounded ground bass.
Exactly, with earth contact. It's
It's
resigned to gravity.
That's the one. Have you heard any of these dances in the raw, so to speak, in their native
Not really.
form?
No. In fact, they don't register. I've never seen them in any other context, actually, but I imagine they would be.
Well, they must be, I would
Yes,
think.
I'd say so. But it did mention, I was looking online, that Mr. Warlock's biographer did say that they bear absolutely no resemblance to anything in
Isn't that interesting?
the treatise.
Isn't that interesting?
I think he just
Yeah.
took the flavour of the styles, And and I think something that is it's obviously highly synthesized and reinvented for our time. But
some of those harmonies were certainly nothing to do with the Renaissance.
Nothing to do with the Renaissance, but that's completely fine. It's wonderful. That's what I love about it.
I love it. No, it's not a criticism.
No, of course,
it's terrific.
Of course, yeah. So anyhow, so bass dance, yes, it has got an earthy quality to it. I do like it with lots. I mean, I remember we used to play. I played this. In fact, we did this on tour. We went overseas with this piece. And,
really?
Yeah.
I think you might have told me that.
Yeah. When
How
I was
did
in
it go over? Was it well received?
It was always well received, and it's not that hard to play, so you can really get into it. And we used to have lots of, I remember being quite visceral in the way that we played that movement. And but I like lots of weight in it. It's got that.
It needs a good thump. You want a good thump in it.
You do. Yeah, something that's a bit elephantine.
That's the one.
I love that expression. I've been wanting to use it for ages. Elephantine.
Oh, there you are. You'll feel better now.
I do. I feel much better. I've got it out of my system. I've got the elephantine. That's what happens after watching all these politicians. I feel like I feel like I need an elephantine release.
That's right.
Sorry, it's starting to depressing here. Okay.
All sorts of animal analogies come to mind.
I know.
Of the politicians. I'm not going to use any of them.
Yes. My mind's reeling. All right, now let's see what else. The next one is the Pavan. Now, I remember being introduced to this piece in a recorder consort when I was in primary school. And,
yes, it'd sound nice on the recorder.
So this does have an antecedent.
It's quiet and smooth and slow-ish.
That's right. It does. It carries very beautifully. And, so this is an existing dance. This is an existing tune that he's arranged. So I've definitely heard it in other contexts other than this. And I remember we had a Baroque specialist, I remember at primary school, who used to take us in a recorder consort. And I played the bass recorder, which is it's a huge recorder. It's a wooden instrument with a crook like a bassoon, and that was fun. I used to play that, and we had about 6 recorders, and we'd play this particular piece. So we'll have a listen to it. It's Pavan, and again, this is from the Warlocks, Peter Warlock's Capriole Suite. Now, I'm just going to do a little bit of a pirouette here over to the SB10, and I like the fast start's a nice feature.
Oh, yes, it's wonderful. Very professional.
Supposedly. Here we go.
Well,
I really like the effect of the drum, the simulation of the drums, the tambour.
Yes, it's lovely. Yes, yes. Da, da,
Yeah.
da.
It's
Yeah,
very effective.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is.
Very effective, yes.
I do remember with the recorder consort that we had one of those drums and someone would just play it.
Yes, that would keep you together.
Yeah, and it's like an oversized tambourine, and it was really it was really effective. But I particularly like how the melody comes with the counter thing comes in thirds, and halfway through it's particularly it's a lovely luscious arrangement. It does say here, it does say that it's an old melody which has become a part of the universal musical currency, eloquent, moving, and lit with tranquil dignity. Well, I certainly vouch for that. It is beautiful. It's a beautifully proportioned melody. It's a lovely melody.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
So that's the second movement, Pavane. Well, the next one is Tourbillon, and
well, now this is the most interesting one, I think, in the sense that it's the most different.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure how to put this. Our teacher had explained to us a fair bit about Peter Warlock and his life and how it ended, and we had a sense that he had his huge difficulties in his own world, and I always sort of inwardly said to myself, the ending of this third movement sort of reflected to me the sort of things almost getting out of control.
Yeah. Sure.
You'll sort of know what I'm talking about when you hear it.
Okay, sure.
But so let's play it. And see
yes, I think so. We'll hear it first, and then we can talk about this. It's
Yeah.
Okay. No. So Tourbillon, and this one's in 6/4 time. So it's an interesting time signature too. Yeah.
Yes. No, it wasn't. It's not this one. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I got my numbers mixed up. It's the next one I was talking
Branzel's,
about.
yeah. Okay, fine. Well, this one we just heard.
That was very, very pretty, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. It is, and it's quite interesting. It has got some interesting offbeat sort of symmetry
It's a
about
nice
it.
syncopation, isn't it?
It is, and the pizzicato's a nice offset. It goes right down to quadruple P. He marks on the music here.
Oh, how soft can you get?
And how soft? And I remember rehearsing this, and I remember our conductor told us just wet the end of your finger and just touch the top of the string. So you're not actually engaging the string. It's just the tackiness of your saliva on your finger, just sort of like percussion, just on the string, surface of the string with your left hand. So with right hand. So it's. I remember him saying, "You actually there at the end you're not playing at all, but the audience think you're still playing.
Thinks that you're doing something."
So it's sort of, yes,
it's all in the mind.
See, it's just like the psychoacoustic effects we were talking about before. Yes, so
that's right.
it's interesting, isn't it? So yeah, I remember practicing this. Just getting it super quiet, and then to the point where it just evaporates completely. So it's an interesting effect, but it's a beautiful day. And again, I love the way he introduces a theme, and then he has a rich harmonic language. It's very modal, of
Certainly
course.
does.
And it's quite beautiful. All right, well, that was the Tourbillon, and
what's this one called?
next one's called Branzel's, and it says a presto dance in duple time made up from two distinct melodic tags and moves even faster to a powerful conclusion and prestissimo. He's a man of extremes, isn't he? We had 4 Ps, quadruple piano or pianissimissimo, and now we've got prestissimo.
Well, this was the end of it. It made me feel as though it was almost running out of control.
Right.
But listen to it.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
you.
I'd like to hear this. All right, let's hear this. It's called Branzels is the name of the band.
Branzels. Okay. Yeah.
Wow, how about that? It's fantastic. Isn't that wonderful?
Very exhilarating, isn't it?
It is. It is so exhilarating. I love it. The way all of those sort of agogic chords at the end, and they're all sort of asymmetric all over the place, but
what a wonderful effect!
It is an effect. It capitulates the piece, the rhythm. It makes it sort of vital, and I really love that effect, and it's really interesting. There's so much to it, and that sub melody, that melody that comes back underneath, and it's very characterful and very exciting writing. Yeah, it's great.
Very, very good writing.
So your teacher was talking about how this may reflect Warlock's sort of psychological.
Well, no, that was just my and a friend, my best friend, who was far more musical than I. He was a very good pianist, actually.
Okay.
And he used to say that when he heard that end bit, he could sort of feel the harmonies in his spine.
Wow.
The visceral sort of effect that it had on him.
Sure.
And it all sounds a bit sort of over the top.
I don't think so at all. A very personal account. I mean, it's there's a story there, and I can certainly relate to that. Yeah, definitely. All right, I love that movement.
It's a good one.
It's great, isn't it? It's great. I remember being terrified of getting one of those chords in the wrong spot.
Oh yeah, that's it jumps about, and they're sort of separate from each other. They're not sort of making a discernible sequence in a way, are they?
No, they're not. And it's very, very fast on the pace. They're all written in crotchets, all in duple time. And they're rest. And as it says, asymmetric. So you've just got to internalize the rhythm and just make sure you don't play make sure you don't play one in the wrong spot.
That's right. That's right.
But like all things, you get a feel for it after a while. But it's great. Well, number 5 is Pieds en l'air. I wish I could speak French.
Don't worry.
Pieds en l'air, I suppose.
Feet
in the air. No?
Yes. Feet in the air. Feet in the air.
Perhaps it is. Says it's scored for first and second fiddles, violas and cellos and double basses being silent for this delicately Gallic movement. The double basses being silent. Okay, no basses in this movement. and it's in 9/4, and it's uneven. And it says here the uneven phrase links produce a haunting atmosphere. Yeah, this is very beautiful. I love this movement. It's got a very tranquil quality to it. Let's have a listen to. I won't say it again. We all know.
I always used to love the contrast between the end of the one we've just had, and this one.
Yes, I think in sequence it sort of really creates a striking effect. I think
It does very much.
Well, beautiful piece, and that's the fifth movement from Warlock's Capriole Suite. We still have you, Frank. You there? I wonder. Have we got Frank with us? Let's see. Oh, it looks like you're switched off on the putes here. You're back.
How's that?
You're back. Yep.
Yes.
That's
Sorry,
good.
that happened quite spontaneously, see?
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. Yeah,
you came up as an inactive on the screen here.
Yes,
So-
I just suddenly unmuted myself. Well, I didn't do anything. It just spontaneously unmuted.
Okay,
Anyway,
never
it's all
mind.
well and good. I was just saying it's got a lovely wistful quality, hasn't it?
It does. It does. It certainly does have a wistful quality. I think that's the best way to describe it. And and it almost, like a lot of Renaissance music is not bound by the time signature. Time signatures is more of a more modern conception, and they sort of free composed a lot of music in the early days. And I think that the asymmetry of the phrases reflects something that's not sort of too bound by meter. So
It must have made it interesting to dance to.
yes, I know. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I wonder. I wonder what they did. Maybe they lingered in certain points, or there are certain Gothic points where they just did some stylized movement and then continued. And I don't know how they choreographed
Something like that,
something. Yeah. But again, I was listening to the harmonies he uses and the way that the harmonies fill. They sort of fill from the inside. It's a beautiful quality.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the end is almost sentimental, isn't it?
Look, it is. It is with the strings there,
I know.
and the fiddle's playing the octaves. It's lovely.
Yes, I know. I
As you say, a little bit syrupy.
Yes, it is, but almost self-caricaturing. I don't know. It's funny. I quite like it. I don't mind it at all. I love it.
I do too. But, I mean, it's what is it? 2 bars or 4 bars?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a suffix, a postlude. Yeah, it's fun. All right, so that leads us to the 6th movement, which is Matachins, and it's a sword dance, apparently.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
the sword
There you
dance,
go. Watch out.
Matachins. Yes, I can just imagine some quite dramatic presentation.
Accidents.
Yes, I can certainly imagine some dramatic accidents. I'm sure they happened.
I would have.
Yes. It says,
The pain.
Exactly. It says here it's vehement repetitions mount to an exciting climax. So that's what it says. So, all right, we'll have a listen to this. Yes, this does have a raw energy about it, this movement. So Matachins is the last movement of Peter Warlock's Capriole Suite. vk3sl and vk3jr testing. Okay, there we go.
Love those harmonies at the end.
Aren't they brilliant? They just they could be anything. It's really clever the way he does that, because you know that it's going to resolve somehow, but he just takes these wild excursions.
You've got no idea while he's doing it where
Exactly,
it's
it's just go whoa. It's like having a bumpy horse ride, isn't it?
That's right. But he brings it home.
Yeah, but I love that sort of there's a certain sort of raw energy about the about the Matachins. Ba, 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 ba. Yes, it's got a certain rhythmic. I can see it on the page. Now it was written in the old sort of Gothic font that they used to use. I remember the edition that we used to play was, I think it was probably exactly from the 20s, and it had been reprinted. It was the old edition, and it had that very bold font. And I remember thinking it had a sort of an ancient feel to it, just the way, or look to it, the way that they presented it. I remember thinking that
you in the mood.
In the mood, yes, that was a part of it too. But
thank you. That was lovely.
Good fun. And I thought what we could do now is hear a historic recording. And what I've got is the one that I remember last time you told me that you heard.
The Boyd Neal.
Yeah, we could listen to the whole thing.
Lovely. I'd love. I was almost put that in as a sort of a sidebar, in my request.
Okay.
Could we play that?
Yeah. Well, we've got it here, and I actually personally, I really enjoyed what we've just heard. But it's very, very slick and very refined and very sort of English chamber orchestra. The Boyd Neal's got more of a slightly more earthy, I think, and I particularly like this recording. I remember last time when we heard it that this one really resonated with me. So we'll sample it. It's on a YT clip someone's put up. It's an old Decca LP, I think. It's a 10-inch LP from the 50s.
I must find it.
Yeah.
I must find it and send it to my friend.
Yes.
Who loved it as much as I did, and he would love to hear that. I'm sure.
Sure. Okay. Well,
lives in. I'll find it.
I can send you a link to the on YouTube.
Please.
And then you could. So it's not a great transfer, but it's okay, and it's very listenable. Okay. It's on a London LP, a 10-inch LP, and it features the Capriole Suite and his Serenade for Frederick Delius. He wrote a dedication.
I'd like to hear that as well.
Yeah, that'd be good to have. Maybe we could sample that later, and then there's works of John Ireland on the other side.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, look, let's hear this particular performance we've been talking about then. This is, again, the same work, the Warlock's Capriole Suite, written in 1926. And, we'll hear it here with Boyd Neal and his English orchestra, probably recorded in the early 1950s. So,
Well, I first heard it in about 52.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, or 53.
Okay. So may even go back to the late 40s, early, yeah.
Well, perhaps 1950-ish, I would say.
Okay, fine. That's great. That's really good to know. Yeah. All right. Well, let's have a listen to this now. vk3sl testing. we go.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Did it bring back some memories, Frank?
Oh, I can't tell you how nostalgic that was.
Oh, fantastic.
Just unbelievable. You know, that when even to the second last chord, it doesn't really tell you what the last one's sort of coming.
That's it.
It doesn't lead to it, does it?
It doesn't. No, it's quite ambiguous. It's interesting. No, it's clever. It's clever the way he creates musical tension using quite simple forms, and there's something quite focused. What's the word? Very deliberate about his approach. And because he's all the time, he's kept the feeling, the essence of those dance forms there. He hasn't compromised that. We've got a bit of a noise situation, a feedy's back problem. Hello, you back there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I lost you for a moment there.
Okay. Yeah, we had a bit of a scramble.
I heard you on the radio, but I still haven't got any. This happened last week. I've lost sound on the internet.
Okay. Oh.
That's all right. I can hear myself on radio.
It's strange, isn't it? It happened about the same time, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
I wonder what that is.
I know, it's very weird.
It is.
I thought it was something to do with the headset, but when I tried the headset on something else, and it works fine.
Okay. It's interesting. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, it's a bit strange. All right. Well, if we could, can you hear okay?
Well, thank you. That was just superb.
Well, it's good. It's good fun. I did want to bring the cello out for one thing.
Oh, good.
I did, because there's something I really liked about the bass dance, and I've got to untangle myself here. I just wanted to show what I really liked about that performance is the way. I'm just getting myself sorted here. The way they played the bass dance legato. Now the other version was much more clipped and far more
staccato, wasn't it?
It was more. But the version we just heard was more.
I'd have to say I prefer that.
So do I. Especially this bit.
It should sing.
I think it needs to.
Lovely.
I love that close semitone.
Yes.
Instead of.
No, it's not.
That's right. It's a very different flavour. You can get a lot more body to the sound.
Yes, it's a far more coherent melody, isn't
That's
it?
right. Instead of.
Yeah.
And then we get the drum at the end. Yes, sir.
With the fifths there, lovely.
So yes, I just thought that's worth illustrating because it's quite a pronounced difference between the two recordings we heard, and even the piano recording. They clip the bass dance.
Yes, they do.
And but it's just fine. It's just an aesthetic choice, and it's fine. We all have different ways, but I always prefer something that's sort of a bit more sinuous, and that needs to be a very grounded piece, I think.
No, definitely.
It does. So yeah. Well, that was good. Well, there's another. Well, should we ever listen to this piece for Frederick Delius? I was going to have a look at this and see if there's a description of this work. I don't know anything about it at all. I think it was written for Delius's 60th birthday.
Okay.
As I remember reading that somewhere. Serenade to Frederick Delius on his 60th birthday by Peter Warlock. Written around about the same time. But is there any information about it? It'd be good to know a bit more about the piece. There isn't. But look, I can just play it. We can have a listen and see what you think. It's not long, and so Yeah.
That would be great.
Okay, all right. Well, let's sample this then. It's Serenade for Frederick Delius, and I presume when was Delius born? About 1880 something. So, wait a minute. This has got to be in context. When did Peter Warlock die? Let's see. I'll just get a little bit more information here. I wonder if we can look him up again. And the internet's going a bit slow. That might have been a part of the problem before. Peter Warlock. So I'm just typing him in now, and we'll see if there's any. We'll just give a bit of a biographical thing. Yes, he died 1930.
Oh, okay.
Okay, gosh, that long ago.
So early, yes.
Yeah.
He couldn't have been very old.
No, not at all. His children had no interest in him whatsoever. They despised him. In fact, there's an interview, I think, with one of them online, and they had no interest in the man. I think he was a really profoundly ill-adjusted individual.
I think he was a most unusual sort of guy. He was a war correspondent at one point.
How interesting! I didn't know that.
So Hugh Jeffrey, my teacher, told us.
Right, fascinating. That is interesting. Yeah, and it mentions here that he met Delius, and he formed a close friendship. I don't think he studied with him.
That's interesting.
He turned to music journalism. He failed as a student at Oxford and London, but he developed an interest in musical journalism and folk song and Elizabethan music, as we've just heard, and Celtic culture and language. And I think that sort of fed into his into his Renaissance fascination.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what else?
Because Delius went to live in the States, didn't he?
Yes, I think he did.
He had an orange farm.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah.
It's one of these useless pieces of information.
It's quite fascinating. Well,
store up.
That's good. Adds to the fray. We need context. It's good. I quite enjoy a little, an aside like that. Yeah.
Yes.
So he went to Eton College for a bit, and he was gay, and I think that was a big part of the problem.
Yes.
Interest in Delius. Yes, he developed an obsession with Delius. But I don't think they were partners or anything. But I think there was a sort of a strange sort of interdependence. I don't know, but anyhow, yeah, he certainly had a strong formative influence on Heseltine's compositional career.
Right.
So there we go. That's what it says. I'm just sort of scanning through this. There's a lot of information. Gosh, yes, he was a music critic, absolutely, and war correspondent, and a new friend. Oh, it goes on and on and on. Yeah, anyhow. So, all right, well, I think we'll cut to the chase and have a listen to this piece, this Serenade. And I think we're right to go. I'm just going to click on the mouse. Oh, no, it's been playing for the last 5 minutes while I've been waffling on. So we'll have to find the end of the last one again.
Okay.
So, no, a bit further. All right. Well, we'll listen to the last bit of Madachins and let it lead into so I don't have to chop around. Well, what a beautiful
Well,
piece. Very
it sounded a lot like Delius,
It
didn't it?
certainly did. It was a real homage to Delius. It was written, I looked it up, it was written in 1922. That's the year of Delius's 60th birthday. And Warlock was very much a disciple of Delius. And you can hear the influence, the chromatic writing, for goodness.
All those lush strings and the harmonies.
Definitely. Textures, those tonal shifts. And again, very long phrase structures and morphing melodies. There's a certain sort of organic quality, which is very, very English. It's almost an English string archetype, isn't it? That Delius.
Tommy Beecham loved Delius.
He did, didn't he? He loved it. I always think of the Cuckoo in Spring.
That's right.
Mr. Beecham. We should feature that one night. Yeah. Last Cuckoo in Spring. That's good. Well, I'm pleased to have discovered that. I didn't know about it, and it's not a work you hear very often at all. So, good to discover something new.
Very good.
And I enjoyed that.
Beautifully played, of course.
Oh, it was. I love Boyd Neal's recordings. I like that concept of string writing. I like string writing that's got lots of body and texture, and it's not too light.
No.
Yes. So.
That had plenty of solidity to it and weight, didn't it?
It certainly did. Absolutely. No, it's good. No, nice to hear that. So
excellent.
Well, it's almost certainly the album that you heard when you were at school. So,
Yes.
So when at school, were you in primary school or secondary school?
Primary school. This was at the Blind Institute.
Really? Oh gosh.
I didn't have any music taught at secondary school.
Okay, right.
Unfortunately.
Oh, what a strong.
Well, I still was doing music, but I was learning piano from by going over to the primary school.
Sure. Okay. Oh wow. That's great. That you had such strong. You must have had a really good teacher, because there's very strong memories that you've.
He was a terrific guy. He used to go out and give music appreciation classes out at Pentridge.
Really?
Yeah.
What a noble thing to do.
I know.
Isn't that wonderful? Oh, what an amazing person. That's fantastic. Do you remember other works that really have strong impressions from when you were at school? From that time?
The Brandenburgs I absolutely loved.
Yeah, that's right. You've mentioned that too. Yeah.
I lean very heavily on Bach for my most vivid impressions.
Yeah, I'd
have to say. And Handel, of course, I love Messiah.
Definitely.
And, they're fairly predictable.
I'm very much on the same wavelength. I can listen to any of Bach's works for the rest of my life and still find something new in them, and something fresh and something inspiring. And Bach's, I think we've often discussed this, but it's so true that with Bach's music, no matter how it's played, it always sounds good.
It does. You can't wreck it, can you?
No, you can't. What did you think of Zara Nilsova playing the Sixth Suite at the start? Did you get a chance to hear that at the start of the missions tonight? The Sixth Suite. I played the prelude to the Sixth Suite.
I just heard the end of it, and I heard the. I heard the Ernest Bloch.
Yeah.
I was talking to Kathy about matters political.
I completely understand, and I was reading matters political while I was listening too. So we played a performance of the Sixth Suite, and just the opening of the Sixth Suite, which was originally, I think now, is possibly written for a violoncello da spalla, which is a sort of a small cello between a viola and a cello, and it's played under that with a strap like a guitar, but under the chin. It's quite interesting. So it was a 5-string instrument, but it's such an expansive piece of music. It's so wonderful, and I played that at the beginning of the missions tonight. I didn't play any dance band music or popular music tonight.
No, that's just about a first, I think.
I think it might be, and I probably should, think of a few alternatives to the usual game plan. I do enjoy those styles, and I've got endless supply here, but it's nice to find other things.
It's good.
Yeah. Anyhow,
good.
so, well, Frank, I suppose it's after 2, and
Think so.
I've got to write reports this weekend, and I don't know.
Steve.
I'm not sure if I might do just one round on the coffee break tomorrow. I'll see how we go.
Yes.
And I'll have to fix that antenna at some time tomorrow as well, which will take a while. But at least I think I know what the problem is. So
Well, that's a big breakthrough, isn't it?
it is. It is. So I think it's just when there's moisture on the antenna, no matter where the break is, it's going to create sparks if it touches anything metal. So that's yeah.
Just be careful if you're climbing.
Yeah, I will, especially with slippery roofs at this time.
Exactly.
Yep, I'll need to look take
Be
care.
good if you could have someone with you.
Yeah. Usually one of the kids hangs around.
Yeah, well, that's good.
We'll see how they go. All right. Well, look.
I had to do my climbing when Kathy was away because she
Yes. I can understand.
didn't approve.
I can understand. But, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
That's right. I'm getting